Welcome friends! Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a gluten-free cake. Now I personally have made this in the springtime with berries and whipped cream, and I put it on my personal Facebook page, and all my friends for forever have been begging me to show you guys how to make this cake. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this gluten-free cake. So if you're going to someone's house and maybe you have celiac or gluten intolerance, or maybe they're coming to your house and you want to be the hostess with the mostest and you want to cater to everyone's needs, this would also be a great cake. It is also about 180 calories a slice. So if you didn't want to add all the things that we're going to add on to it today, just put a little bit of powdered sugar. That would also work. But I'm not going to show you the way I make it in the springtime. I'm going to show you it with like a little fall flair. I'm going to show you the base, and so you could do whatever you want with it. But I'm going to show you lemon almond gluten-free cake. And then I'm going to make one with raisins and pecans because I thought that's kind of like more fall. Either way you make it, it is going to be absolutely delicious. If you're new here, I'm Sonia. I hope you guys stick around. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up so we can spread out to more people, and that really helps my channel. And also subscribe because we have a lot of fun around here. Okay, let's get going on this cake. I can't wait to show it to you. It is so easy. I'm telling you, any of you can make this, and it is so good. You need to try it. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started on these cakes. You're going to need to separate the yolks from the egg whites. We are going to need 3 egg yolks. You can separate them however you want. I tried it this way, and I have usually good luck. Later on, I tried this one and I totally messed up and had to start all over again for the egg white part. You're going to need 3 egg yolks, and you're going to add 2/3 cup of sugar. Now you're going to need to really beat this until it almost becomes a different color. See how it lightens up? Now mine are dark. I bought like the Wilcox eggs in different parts of the country that they're fed something different, so they're a little darker. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of almond extract, and this is going to give this like the best flavor. Then we're just going to add in a little pinch of salt, and then we are just going to cream it up until it is like a light and creamy color. Now, I messed up on this part. I would have used the 3 egg whites that I already had, but because I did it the other way, and when I pulled one of them up, there was a little bit of yolk left, and that's what I want to explain. This is just 6 eggs whites. You cannot have any yolk in this, or this cake will be ruined. I cannot stress this enough. And if you get a little bit, you're going to have to start all over again. So after you get your 6 egg whites, you are just going to take your blender and blend it all up. Now I have a KitchenAid, so you could do this on the KitchenAid, but it's hard for me to show my camera angles. That's why I use my little handheld ones. And you're going to get it just till it's a little bit frothy. And then we are going to add in 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then we are going to whip it up until it becomes about a medium peak. I'm going to show you what this looks like. Now again, this is important. If it doesn't whip up and you're not getting medium peaks, you need to start all over again because this will ruin your cake. It's just actually, you know what this cake is very similar to? There it is, medium peaks. This is very similar to my tres leches cake. If you haven't made that, I would say it's also a similar process, what I would say. So you're going to take now the yolk mixture that we have, and we are going to put in about a half of it into our bowl. And when we mix this up, we are going to fold everything together. You're going to need some almond flour. I buy it at Costco, but you could buy it wherever you want. Now I want to let you know, once you open your almond flour, the best way to keep it for a long time is to put it in the freezer, and that's what I do because there's no way I'm going to go through all that. So this is the part I want to show you that is crucial to your cake. You are not mixing this, you are folding this. And if you don't fold it, then your whole cake is going to be ruined. You cannot mix it. Everything has to be felt, and it is going to take a little bit of time, and it needs to be folded. Make sure that you get your spatula like all the way into the bottom so that you get everything mixed together, because if not, when you start pouring it into your pan, you'll see like, oh my gosh, I didn't quite do it. So you're going to actually do the second part of your yolks, and then you're going to add in 1 more cup of the almond flour. So it's going to be 2 cups of almond flour, and you're going to really mix it until you see nothing that's just one consistent color. You're going to need a springform pan, 9-inch, and I went ahead and cut me a piece of parchment paper. You're going to put a little bit on the bottom, put the parchment circle, and then you're going to spray it. You just want to make sure this cake really comes out. And I'm going to use some craisins, just dried cranberries, and you're going to need a half a cup. I actually picked up this bag, y'all, at like Dollar Tree when I was there. I just happened to see it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I want to try. I had it for different recipes, so I had some left. And I was like, oh, let's put this in this cake. I think it's going to taste delicious, and it is. And then we're also going to do a half a cup of pecans. I probably look at, these are like fall flavors. Now, I want you to know this base, you could add different things if you wanted to. If you don't like cranberries, you could add in something else. Whatever your little hearts are. You want to do pecans, you want to do walnuts, you could do the same thing. After you pour it in, you want to make sure you give it a little shake so it evens out. We're going to cook it at 350 for 30 minutes. You don't want to overcook it. I want to show you, just take whatever you're using to check it, make sure it comes out clean. And when you press on it, it should like kind of spring back. Now you're going to let it cool about 5 to 10 minutes. Then you're going to run your butter knife around the edges. You want to make sure that this comes out perfect. Say a little prayer, pop open your spring fan, and hope that it comes out beautiful. I'm just kidding. It will if you follow these instructions. And then we are just going to flip it over and let it cool off while we make our topping. I actually put this in my windowsill because I wanted to cool this pretty fast, and it's pretty cold here, so that by the time we make this mixture, it'll be ready cooled. So you're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, and we're going to also use almond extract again. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of that and just a little bit of milk. Now we want this to be kind of thick because we're just going to drizzle it on top. And again, if you don't want to put anything else on top, you could just put a little powdered sugar. You could just leave the cake as it is. It's really up to you. So you're just going to mix these things so you have a pretty thick consistency, and then we are just going to drizzle it all over our cake and make it pretty. But again, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But I want to tell you all, this tastes amazing when it was done. And I want to make sure I just put a little bit on the edges so it just kind of gets a drizzle. My son actually came over and he tried this cake and he said, Mom, I feel like you shouldn't call it gluten-free cake because people won't click on it. It's probably some of your best cakes you've ever made. I was like, oh. So I did decide to put a little extra nuts and cranberries on top. I did about 1/4 a cup of each one because I just wanted a little bit on top. So to give it a little bit more flavor. Now I realize this is a lot for cake, but you actually, when I served it up, I gave like little pieces because it is pretty rich. And this is what it turned out looking like, y'all. This is so good. If you guys are looking for a gluten-free cake for the holidays, I am telling you, this cake is delicious. So now we're going to get started on our second cake. It is the same base, so it's just going to be a few tweaks. It's going to be 3 egg yolks and 2/3 cup of sugar. I should have made this in like a narrower bowl. Kind of got crazy. I didn't really think it makes such a difference. So I had to like scrape down everything. Again, when I normally make this, I actually make it in my KitchenAid. But again, I like to show you guys in a bowl. It's a little bit easier for me showing you how to make things. So it didn't matter. Just scrape it down. We're going to blend it up till it starts turning a creamy color. And then we are going to do the same thing that we did in our last cake, and we are going to add in 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Now, if you like yours really like a strong almond flavor, you could add just a drop more, probably wouldn't hurt. If you don't like almond, you could actually probably also do just a vanilla. I also do a pinch of salt, and then I whip it up again until it's nice and creamy consistency. It needs to be really well blended, and so whatever color your original egg whites is, it needs to be a much lighter color. Now we're starting with those 6 egg whites, and we are just going to blend them up till it's nice and frothy. Do the exact same thing. We're doing 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to blend it up until it is medium peaks. Now this cake is going to be a little different. I wouldn't show you all this. I'm not doing this just so it is going to be medium peaks at this point. Now we are going to take a lemon, and this is one of the things that we're doing this different, and we are going to zest the outside of this, and oh my gosh, you guys, it gives it a really good flavor. Remember, you don't want to get the whites. You really want to move around your lemon. I probably did about 3/4 of a lemon, the outside zest of one. And then we're going to go ahead and put in about half of the whites. And we are also going to add in our cup of almond flour. And again, now we're going to do one more thing that's different. We're also going to do the juice of half of a lemon. Make sure you get one with a lot of juice in it. If not, pop it in the microwave for about 10 seconds and then squeeze it again and all of the juice will come out of it. Though it is citrus season right now, so I feel like the lemons are pretty good. Again, you're going to want to fold this in and make sure again that your egg whites were nice all the way to a medium peak, or this is not going to work. Remember, if you mess up the egg whites, start again. No big deal. Once in a while it's happened to me, just start again. Especially in the summer when it's hot, it's hard to do egg whites. So we're doing the same thing. 9-inch springform pan. We are just going to spray it. Make sure it's really well sprayed or you could run into problems. You are just going to put in your mixture, pour it in, then you're just going to give a little shake, 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 level it out. Throw it in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. At the same time, we're going to make a topping. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little more sugary. Again, you could change this up and just to a drizzle. Mine's going to be a coating. 3 cups of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of almond extract, and the juice of half of a lemon. As a reminder, I'm going to put both of these recipes in the description box so you guys can make this. I hope you guys give it a try. I hope you come back and tell me how it was down in the comments. I love reading the comments and giving you guys emails or things on Facebook and you guys tell me how much you made it. If you're not following me, I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I kind of put up a little things that are different. We're also going to add in some milk to this, just like our last one. I started measuring this out, y'all, but I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. This is like too thick. So I was like, just started pouring in a little bit of milk at a certain point. Basically, anytime you're making like a royal icing or something like this, it's just basically the confectioner sugar and the milk and then whatever flavoring you're going to be doing. And if it's not royal icing, if it's just like a confectioner sugar kind of icing, and you just want to get it thick. And I did want this one to be a fairly thick consistency, but not as thick as my last one. And I'm going to show you exactly how it's going to pour over, because we're actually going to pour this over our cake. So it is going to be a little bit of a thinner consistency, and I'm just going to show you here about how thick you want to get it. It's still it's thick, but not as thick as our last one. So now we're going to do the same thing. I'll let it cool. It ran for 30 minutes. Say a little prayer, pop it open, and this one we are actually going to put back. You can see how it's hot. I did put it next to my window to chill, but it still wasn't cool enough. You do want to make sure it cools all the way off on both of these cakes before you put the confectioner sugar icing, because if not, it's going to heat it and it's not going to be the same. So these cakes were fully chilled by the time I added this on. So then I'm just going to add in that lemon mixture with the confectioner sugar, and I did want to kind of like drizzle it over the edge. Again, I poured it over this cake and I thought it was actually really good. Is this a rich cake with the almond flour and all the sugar? Yes, it is. But this is for the holidays. And if you wanted to do less, again, you could just drizzle it like the last one. I also decided to toast up our almonds that we're going to put on top. And I did put a cup, but I probably ended up using about a half a cup. And you want to toast them until they turn brown, but not too brown. You can also toast them in the oven or your air fryer, however you want to do it. Just don't get them too brown. A few of them were on the edge. I probably was not paying attention as much as I should have. I have a new puppy, and I think he had to go to the bathroom right about when I was doing that. I had to take him out. Anyways, so just toast them up, and then for a little extra, we also did a little bit of zest right across the top, which gives a little color, and it also gives it an amazing flavor. And this is what it looks like when you're done. It tastes so good. I hope you guys all give this a try, and I hope you make one of these cakes and let me know how it goes. I hope you guys give one of these cakes a try. They're both really delicious, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Make sure you subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you back here in a week. I love you guys. Bye.